What's going on, Clarity Coders? Today we're going to start our free programming bootcamp. So if you've ever watched my tutorials and you've tried to follow along and maybe you were successful, but then you weren't able to make your own items or your own program or whatever you're trying to do, this course is for you. We're going to actually learn how to program from scratch and build our way up through the series. Now, if you already know how to program, please stick with us. Let me know in the comments. This is going to be a living video series. So if you have comments, concerns about the way I'm teaching or something I left out, leave it in the comments and I'll pull those to the top so everyone can see it. Now, why am I doing a Python series? Well, one, you've asked me to do so that's what I am going to do, is present you with that content. But there's a lot of other series out there, a lot of Programming with Mosh and a lot of other people that are doing this. Well, I don't think it hurts to hear it from a lot of different people, and everyone teaches in different ways. I was a instructor at a 4-year university, so I am qualified. I do have my master's degree in computer science, and I was a professional programmer, and now I manage an IT department. So I think I'm qualified to do so as well. Why Python? So what we're going to use in this series is Python. If you want to learn some other language, you can go ahead and do a series that focuses on some other language. But if you're unsure, don't overthink this decision. We're going to teach you programming the right way so you can move on from Python and do whatever language you want to in the future. So don't overstress that. We're going to use Replit in this series. Now, if you have Python installed locally on your computer, that's perfectly fine. Follow along with that. We're using Replit for a couple reasons. One, they put together this document and sponsored this series, but it gives us the opportunity to all learn in the same environment. So I don't have to worry about you trying to install Python on Mac versus Linux versus Windows. We can all start at the same exact spot and just learn the programming side of things. Once we have that down, you can install it locally and go wherever you want from there. So those are the simple whys. We're going to start right now today. We're going to jump through some of the content in this document. Now, like any good college course, boot camp, whatever it is, we're not going to follow the document line by line. We're going to use it as an outline, but you can always gain more by reading the document and vice versa. You can always gain more from the document by watching my videos. So both are going to kind of work together. We're going to write live code in every single video I do. It's going to be a very graphical and learning based series. So anytime I'm coding, I want you to follow along and code, and we're going to code in this video. So stick with us. We're going to highlight a couple things real quick, and then we're going to jump into coding. So let's get started. So this is going to be our outline for this chapter. So this is our chapter 1 outline. We're going to cover 4 main topics here. We're going to talk about Python, the programming language. We're going to talk about what a computer program is. And then in the second part, we're actually going to do some coding, and I'm going to show you our first program as well as some debugging and error checking. So one of the biggest things that separates a professional from an amateur programmer is debugging. So we're going to get started in that in chapter 1 and stick with it throughout the series. So first of all, let's talk about programming languages, specifically Python in general. Python is a high-level programming language. It is a high-level language along with other languages that you probably heard of. And if you're trying to decide which to learn first, you're probably thinking, which one of these should I choose? So these high-level languages are Python, Java, C++, C#, among others. Now, what I'll say here, and what I always say to beginning programmers, I do teach Python first for a couple of reasons. One, it is a little more concise to write. So there's less startup code to get your program running, which is nice. The second is indents and spacing matter. So it creates very organized, structured code. So that's why we're using Python to start this series. Now, if you are learning some other language first, it's not an issue. And if you're like, in the future, I really want to learn Java, it's going to be way easier after this series. So stick with us and we'll learn that too. But these are high-level languages. So you're probably asking yourself, well, then what are my low-level languages and what are the difference? So a high-level language is a little easier for a human to understand and a little easier for us to write and keep organized. The low-level languages are easier for a computer to understand. Those low-level languages that you'll hear are like assembly and machine language. Now, if you're trying to pick a programming language to learn, I am sure there are people out there that are saying that you should start with a low-level programming language. I do not think that. I think you should start with a high-level language. So I don't really care from the last slide if you start with Java, Python, whatever you want, but I would start with one of the high-level languages. But that is purely opinion-based. So if our language is a high-level language, how is our computer going to understand it? Well, Python uses the Python interpreter, and you're going to write your Python code. It's going to be passed to the interpreter when you run it, and it's going to break it down into a language that your computer can understand. So we're not going to dive too deep into this, but just to understand how it works, some languages are compiled like Java, others run through an interpreter. So ours is going to run through an interpreter when you run your program, and then it'll show up on the screen. All right, we're going to check that off. So now we're through Python programming language. Let's talk about what is a computer program and what makes up a computer program. So a computer program is actually relatively simple when you break it down into the 4 little sections that we're going to talk about here. So the first thing we're going to talk about is computer programs typically will have some type of input, so some way to get data into the program. That may be anything from a keyboard, you typing in data. It may be you reading in an image off your hard drive. It could be some Internet of Things, a thermostat outside that's broadcasting data and your program pulls it in. But we're getting data somehow into the program. The next is output. So typically with a computer program, we're wanting to give output in some way. Again, this could happen a million different ways. It might be writing the data back to a text file. It might be displaying it on your screen. Back to the Internet of Things, it might be flashing LED lights around your office or something cool like that. So we're giving output back out of the program as well. Now we have to manipulate that data as well. So that's where the mathematics comes in. Now don't worry, we're not going to get crazy with mathematics, and I've become a professional programmer without being very good at math, so you can get away with the basics here. But we are going to manipulate that data. So when we get data into our program, it's always going to be in the form of numbers. So we're going to be doing numeric changes with it. Even when you get into AI and you're working with images, a lot of times you're doing things like normalizing those images or doing some simple math operations to that data, even when it's image-based. We're also going to do conditional statements. There's actually 5 things that I'm going over here. So the conditional statements are going to be how your program makes decisions. So you've probably heard of if-then statements. And if you haven't, those are going to be some of the decision blocks that we use. So for example, our program might say, if your age is greater than or equal to 16 in the United States, you can get a driver's license and drive a car. Else, so if you're not 16 or over, you might have to ride your bike. These are called conditional statements, and they're going to be how our program makes decisions. And finally, repetition. So our code's going to be doing different things, and eventually we'll want to build big enough programs that reuse some code without writing it out line by line. So maybe we're doing the same thing to a bunch of different objects. So say you're working with images, maybe every one we're turning to grayscale. We don't want to write step by step every one turning it to grayscale. We want to use some loops or some other functions to perform repetition in our program. Now, often this repetition will come with some variable changes. So we might grayscale every image, but every time we do that, we're going to pass it a different image or something along those lines. So our program wants to have some type of repetition to reuse code. Could be loops, could be functions, could be classes, and we're going to cover all those in this series. That's it. We knocked out the first 2. For the next 2, we're going to jump in and actually write some code. So if you haven't already, I want you to hop over to Replit, or if you already have Python installed, go ahead and open that up, and we're going to do some code now and talk about it as we go through these final examples. So I'm going to pop open my browser. Again, you can go wherever you would like for this. If you haven't signed up for Replit, you can go ahead and sign up for it. I'm going to go ahead and log into my account. Now, once you log into your account, you're probably going to come to a screen that looks like this. If you don't have a Replit already, a area for us to program, you're going to hit this plus sign. You want to make sure you're choosing Python from the list of languages. So you want to choose Python. And I'm going to call mine Chapter 1. When you open it, you'll probably come to a screen like this. Yours won't have the code here. These are some things we're going to go over. And then you'll be ready to run your code. Now, I'm going to change my settings a little bit just so it's a little easier for you guys to see. So I'm going to go to huge font. And then we can write some code. So the first thing I'm going to talk about before we write our program, yours is probably looks just like a blank document, so you don't have all this code below. So what is this code below? You'll notice if I actually run this, none of this code will run. That's because these are comments. So anytime you have a hash symbol before a line in Python, it's not going to run that code. So all this is coded out. It's just stuff that I have here so I don't forget to go over it with you guys. So for our first program, we're going to write a simple print statement. So what we want to do is we want to get output to our console down below. So to use that, we're going to use a built-in function in Python called print. So in lowercase, we're going to write print. And you'll notice it pops up some hints on what we can pass into here. And we want to print out a string. Now, typically, your first program in computer science is always hello world. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So inside of quotes, we're going to write hello world. Now, note here, the capitalization on your print statement is very important. So it's all in lowercase. We have a parenthesis to start, then quotes, hello world, another quote, and another parenthesis. Now, if we push run, you should get output below that shows hello world. If you don't, you might have some sort of an error and you might have to do some debugging. Now, luckily, that's our next topic. So we've written our first program. We can check that off the list. You've noticed we've already went outside of the outline that I took so long to put together. And now we're going to talk about debugging. Why we're talking about debugging so early in this course is because of how important I think it is. It truly separates an amateur from a professional programmer. If you can trace down your bugs and errors, it's going to help you either get paid or get your projects done faster. So say you had some sort of an error here. There could be what's called a syntax error. Now, a syntax error means you're breaking the rules of the language itself. So, for example, a syntax error could be if we had forgotten the closing parenthesis. Now, if we run this, you'll see it says syntax error, unexpected end of file while parsing. So you want to really read these errors too, and you'll notice that it's probably pointing to that line as well. Now, a syntax error will cause your program to not run at all. So if we do this and we run it, we get hello world again. If we run another line below it and we say hello again, and now we push run, you'll notice these both print out, right? Hello world and then hello again. Now, if I take out this closing parenthesis and run this, you'll notice neither of those lines showed up. So a syntax error is going to cause your program to not run at all. That's our first type of error. The second that we're going to talk about is a runtime error. Now, a runtime error will work a little different. A runtime error will cause your program to error on that line itself. So if we did something like print 1 plus 5, you'll notice it says hello world, and then below it spits out 6, which makes sense. Now let's say we accidentally caused an error here, and instead of doing 1 plus a number, we did 1 plus hello world. If we run this, you'll notice it errors out, but something strange happens that's a little different from our syntax error. You'll notice it did still print out our first line. It did still print out hello world. That's because this is a runtime error. And you'll notice with this runtime error, it gives us a pretty good description of what's happening. So we really want to read these errors. It says unsupported operand type for the plus symbol, int and string. So what it's saying is I can't add together an integer like 1 and a string like hello world. So it causes a runtime error. Finally, is a semantic error. So these are the hardest errors to trace back. This error not only will let your program run, but there's going to be no error at all. So an example that I thought of is if you do 1 plus 5 like this, you'll notice now my 1 has quotes around it and my 5 has quotes around it. These are strings now. They're not integers in Python, which we'll talk about later. But you'll notice if I run this, it works perfectly, sorta. So it prints out both lines. It says hello world, and then it says 15. Now, if I was trying to add these two numbers together, that's an error, right? It doesn't have an output error, and it does work, but it's not the output that I expected. I expected it to say 6. So this is a semantic error. These are the ones that are hardest to debug, and these are the ones that we're going to use advanced debugging tools to try and trace back. But for our case here, we know that if we change this back to integers, so if we erase the quotes and run it, it will work like we expected and we'll get 6 back. This is our first chapter in this series. We're going to keep going through this series. Please let me know in the comments if you want me to do anything different or explain anything better. Be sure to check out our textbook here. Our textbook is going to be this document by these creators. I did not create this document, but they're nice enough to let me do a video series on it. So I'm going to use this as our textbook for the course, and we're going to follow along with it. So read through chapter 1. It covers most of the stuff I covered here, and then we will be back soon to do chapter 2. Until next time, keep coding.